Control your mind, mouth, and money. Before you win anything in life, before the promotion, the relationship, the wealth, the respect, you must win yourself. You must conquer the battlefield no one can see, the war raging in your own mind. Every dream you have, every goal you chase, every plan you've made is either built or destroyed in that space between your ears. Your mind is not a playground. It is a fortress. And most people leave the gates wide open. They let fear stroll in. They let doubt sleep on the couch. They let other people's opinions raid their pantry and eat away at their belief. But you must be different. You must guard your mind like a king protects his crown. You must stand at the gates and say, "Nothing enters here unless it serves my future," because your mind is the architect of your destiny. If you think small, you build small. If you think weak, you live weak. If you think temporary, you only create temporary results. Every great life begins first with a great thought. Every great empire was once just an idea. And every person who rose from nothing to greatness had to master this first law. Control your mind, or it will control you. Picture Thomas Edison, working night after night, failing more than 10,000 times to invent the light bulb. Imagine the voices in his head telling him, "You're wasting your time. You're a fool." But he refused to let those voices win. He refused to surrender the gates of his mind. He chose to believe, and because he did, he gave light to the world. Your thoughts are not harmless. They are the seeds of your future. Plant poison and you will harvest pain. Plant courage and you will reap victory. But controlling your mind is only the first step. You must also control your mouth, because words are not just sounds. They are spells. They build or they break. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Look around you. People sabotage their destiny every single day by speaking against themselves. "I'm so unlucky. I can't do this. I'm broke. I'm tired." And then they wonder why their life looks exactly like their words. You must stop cursing your own future with casual negativity. You must speak like someone who expects to win, even when you are losing. You must talk like someone who is building something, even when you are surrounded by rubble. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right." The same is true of what you say. Whether you speak life or speak death, you are right. Your mouth is steering the direction of your life. So grab the wheel. Stop using words carelessly and start using them intentionally. And finally, control your money. Because money is not evil. It is energy, it is freedom, it is a magnifier of who you already are. If you are careless, it will make you more careless. If you are wise, it will make you more powerful. But most people let money control them. They work jobs they hate, buy things they don't need to impress people they don't even like. They stay broke, not because they are incapable, but because they have no discipline. You must flip the script. Money must become your servant, not your master. You must learn to tell every dollar where to go, instead of wondering where it went. Build the habit of saving when you have little so you are trusted with much. Stop spending to feel good in the moment and start investing to feel free in the future. When you control your mind, you control your decisions. When you control your mouth, you control your direction. When you control your money, you control your destiny. These three, mind, mouth, money, are the foundation of a powerful life. Master them, and you are unstoppable. But we are just getting started, because once you have learned to take control, you must learn to hold it under pressure. The world will test you, tempt you, and try to pull you back into old patterns. The question is, will you stay in control when everything around you tries to shake you? That's where most people fall apart. Not when life is calm, but when the storm shows up. It's easy to control your thoughts when everything is going your way. It's easy to speak powerfully when you're winning. It's easy to budget when you have extra money sitting in the bank. But the real test of character is when you're broke, when you're hurting, when you're scared, when nothing seems to be working. That's when the mind wants to panic, the mouth wants to complain, and the money slips through your fingers, and this is where you must stand taller than you ever have. Pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is your training ground. Diamonds are made under pressure, not in comfort. Steel is forged in fire, not in lukewarm water. You are no different. When fear knocks at the door, you must meet it with focus. When doubt whispers, you must answer back with discipline. When your bank account is empty, you must still think and speak like a person who is headed somewhere. Because this is how you train the mind not to collapse under weight. Imagine Abraham Lincoln in the middle of his failures, losing election after election, mocked by his rivals, struggling with depression. Most would have given up, but he kept showing up. He kept controlling what he could control, his thoughts, his words, his actions. And because he stayed steady, he became the man who would hold a divided nation together. Control is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about showing up on days when you don't feel like it, choosing faith over fear, discipline over comfort, action over excuses, and this is where the mouth becomes a weapon of war. Because every time you speak, you're either adding fuel to your fire or pouring water on it. Every complaint, every sarcastic remark, every time you say, "I can't," you are draining your own strength. But when you speak courage, when you speak gratitude, when you speak possibility, even if your circumstances haven't changed, your spirit rises. You build momentum. There's a reason great athletes talk to themselves before a big game. There's a reason soldiers chant before battle. There's a reason affirmations work. Because words program the mind, and a programmed mind programs your actions. So guard your mouth like a soldier guards his weapon. Never use it carelessly. Never shoot off words that wound your own future. And yes, guard your money with the same discipline. Not out of fear, but out of respect. Respect for yourself. Respect for your future family. Respect for the work you put in to earn it. Because money is a test of character. If you can't control it when you have a little, you won't control it when you have a lot. If you can't say no to small impulses, that daily coffee you don't need, that gadget you buy to impress strangers, then you will never build the wealth that buys freedom. Understand this. Wealth is not just for the rich. Wealth is for the disciplined. Every wealthy person you admire had to learn the same lesson. Live below your means, invest in your future, and sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. It's not glamorous. It's not fun, but it is freedom. And that freedom allows you to think clearly. It allows you to speak boldly. It allows you to live with dignity. The world wants you distracted, broke, and dependent. Because a person who has no control is easy to control. But a person who has mastered themselves, their mind, their mouth, their money, that person cannot be bought, cannot be silenced, cannot be manipulated. That person is dangerous, and that is who you must become. You must become the kind of person who can walk through fire and not be burned, who can be surrounded by noise and stay focused, who can face temptation and still choose what is right. Because the moment you choose control over chaos, you become unstoppable. And make no mistake, life will test you again and again. Every time you grow, the test gets harder. You think you've mastered patience? Life will send you a season of waiting. You think you've mastered discipline? Life will give you new temptations. You think you've mastered fear? Life will put you in a situation that shakes you to your core. And in those moments, you must remind yourself, I am still in control. I control my thoughts. I control my words. I control my actions. And because I control these, nothing outside of me can control my destiny. And this is where clarity begins to change everything. Because once you control the chaos inside of you, you finally have the mental space to see where you're going. Most people don't have vision, they have wishes. They say they want to be successful, but they've never defined what success means. They say they want to be happy, but they've never taken the time to decide what happiness looks like. Clarity is power. When you know where you're going, every decision becomes easier. When you know what you stand for, every temptation loses its grip. When you know what matters most, you stop wasting time on what doesn't. This is why you must slow down long enough to write the vision. I'm talking pen and paper. Write who you want to become. Write what you want to build. Write what you want your life to look like 10 years from now. Walt Disney once said, if you can dream it, you can do it. But first, you must dream it clearly. Disney saw theme parks in his mind long before they existed. He saw Mickey Mouse on the screen before the world ever did. His vision was so clear that even after he died, the team he trained was able to complete Disney World, exactly the way he imagined it. When you hold that kind of vision, you are no longer a prisoner of circumstances. Because circumstances can change overnight, but vision remains. And once you have that vision, you must build it with purpose. Purpose is the engine that keeps you moving when motivation is gone. Motivation is nice, but it fades. Purpose endures. You won't feel motivated every day. There will be mornings you wake up tired, discouraged, uninspired. And if you rely on motivation, you'll quit. But when you are driven by purpose, you keep going because you must. because it's not about feelings anymore. It's about destiny. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't march because he felt motivated. He marched because he had a purpose. Purpose kept him walking through hatred, through prison cells, through death threats. Purpose will make you do what others call impossible. And here's the thing, when your mind is clear, when your mouth speaks life, and when your money is under control, you are free to pursue that purpose without compromise. You're not distracted, you're not desperate, you're not tied down by fear of what people think or how you'll pay the bills. You are free to go all in, and going all in is what changes everything. Because the universe, life, God, whatever you call it, does not reward half effort. It does not reward hesitation. It rewards faith expressed through action. Clarity brings courage. Courage fuels action. Action builds momentum. And momentum creates results. You cannot think your way into a new life. You must act your way into it. And yes, it will feel awkward at first. Yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, you will be tempted to quit. But every step forward, no matter how small, compounds over time. Carnegie didn't build his steel empire in a day. Edison didn't light the world overnight. Henry Ford didn't revolutionize transportation with one car. Each took years of effort, failure, learning, adapting, and continuing when others would have stopped. That is how legends are made. And that is exactly what you are doing every day you choose control over chaos. Every time you say no to a distraction, every time you speak faith instead of fear, every time you save instead of spend, you are laying bricks. It may not look like much today. You may not see the castle yet. But keep laying bricks, and one day you will look up and realize you are living inside the vision you once only dreamed about. And when you get there, when you stand inside that dream, you will understand that it was never about luck. It was never about talent. It was never about someone else giving you a break. It was about control, about choosing daily to win the invisible battles, until the visible victories had no choice but to appear. And when that happens, you will not just have success. You will have peace, the kind of peace that comes from knowing you built this life with your own two hands, with your own discipline, with your own focus. And that peace is priceless.